What's going on, guys? Welcome to TK's Garage 405. So today I'm going to be working on my car again here. So actually starting this video earlier in the week. I had some truck problems, so I just take it in today. So not on the go like usual or whatever, but yeah, figured while I'm home I'll tinker around here a little bit and try to get something accomplished here. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, share me around on social media. TK's Garage 405 on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, let's get at it here. Alright guys, so today's plan here is to change this oil pan. I'm doing this the wrong way. I should have it on the engine stand, but we got the other engine on the stand right now. And if I bought another one, I would never probably use it ever again, and it would just be in my way all the time. Honestly, this crane and this engine stand I have now are probably going to be in my way all the time as it is afterwards. So, and I didn't realize when I bought this thing, I actually wouldn't have had to put an oil pan on it because it's already got a low profile one. So whatever, we'll end up changing it out anyways because I got the one with turbo drains. What I could have done as an option was put the front cover with the drain, which maybe would have been easier for like routing the lines and stuff. So single turbo, one line. I don't think it'll be super complicated or tight, hopefully. I guess we'll find out, but yeah. We will see. So that's my plan here anyways. I think I probably got long enough extensions here. I don't know if I need quite that much. 9 feet of extensions here. Oh, this is a really terrible way to do this, by the way. FYI, hanging underneath an engine crane. Not the smartest decision probably, but it's going to be kind of a pain to put back on too. I don't know if these oil pan gaskets are reusable or not, but something to think about. I just watched a video on it because I've never changed an LS oil pan. I just forget all this stuff, like the oil filter housing is part of it too, which is interesting. So I had already put the oil filter on. You guys saw in the other video there, but yeah, I'm just going to crack them all loose and then we'll zip them off and hopefully it doesn't make a gigantic mess on the floor. Oops. There we go. Come on to this side. Take these ones off. Slow going here. I don't know why I have such a long extension. Still twice as long as I need. It'd be a lot easier if I just had a ratchet instead of this thing. Should have broken loose with the ratchet first. I'm smarter. All right. Make things nice and complicated. All right. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'll pull the back ones off first and then a couple middle. I thought there was 2 really long bolts in these.
Yeah, there is. It goes to this plate here. It's these 2 right here.
Oh, I missed a couple.
Those don't go to the pan though.
Gotcha. Oh, really?
Oh, maybe. No, they do. You're right.
Yeah, I thought I missed a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, see? What the heck is that?
Is it
just washed the freaking thing full of gas or what?
It's turning over, so it's not like it's hydrolocked or anything.
I don't know if you guys probably can't see that in the video, but if you look at my hands here, just soaked. When I'm pulling out the bolts for the oil pan here, it's like, it doesn't smell like gas, but it's like really, really thin liquid here. You could see it dripping into the pan when I was pulling it out. Like, it's definitely not oil.
It's a very familiar smell, though.
It is.
Is it like some
like
kind
water
of
almost.
some kind of thread, like anti-thread, anti-lock, or anti-seize?
I don't know. It's very thin consistency though. Why would it be up there too though? Like how come all of them? That's weird.
Hmm.
Like really weird. All right, well, keep pulling off bolts, I guess. I think all these like, I think these are all like MLS gaskets. See? They're all like that. That's really weird.
How many you got left?
Probably a couple on that side, probably the outside ones.
I think that's one of the last ones.
Unless it was like, oh, that smelled like, I don't know.
There's one right here.
Did I get this shutter?
Yeah, there's none on this side.
Which one did I miss here?
Over here, on this side.
Oh, that's it?
Right here. I think that's the last one.
There's two here. Three, actually.
Got it?
Huh. Just like, that's a weird consistency though, hey? Does it look like anything weird there? Dude, that's a lot of stuff in the bottom for being a brand new engine. I gotta show you guys this. So this is the pan we just pulled off this brand new engine that this guy sold me. He's never run in a car before ever because, you know, he put it in there and he didn't have a transmission. Look at
Smells
that.
like gas.
That's what it does smell like. I wonder if he washed the cylinder walls. Look how much oil's still in there. We drained it too. Must not have been on a perfect angle. But like, how black that is. How? That exactly what it looks like is like oil and gas mixed together. Brand new engine, guys. All right, get back to the hunt here. Okay, guys, you can kind of see here. This is like the oil pickup tube. I mean, it was a used bottom end, to be fair, but like, man, if that's actually legit, there was like, I don't know, man. So the things that he said, let's grab a flashlight here. The things he said was it had a high volume oil pump. So let's take a look here. Try to take a better peek here. Take up the stand here. Grab a flashlight. Okay, so let's see if you guys can see in there. So it does look like it has a new timing chain, I would say. And then the oil pickup tube is there, which is, and then where is, there's the reluctor wheel, I guess, the one that I had no clue where it was or whatever, but it says, oh, sorry, I'm trying to hold the flashlight and look at the camera at the same time. It's like it says 221, or sorry, 213. It looks like it's stock rod bolts there. You can kind of see up in there if you look, which is all expected. That's what he said, but it almost seems like it was like just gushing oil down the throat, and maybe he couldn't get it to run right. I don't know. I don't really know what the deal is here, but I don't see anything. Let me see here. Turn it on this one. There you go. I don't see anything too crazy here, but yeah. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm gonna measure the oil pan that was on there, check the exact depth. I guess I'll do it from the back here, which is a 5 3/8 of an inch and 5 1/4 inch. We'll check that bottom. Oh no, sorry. Almost exact. Pretty close. So double check the sides here. I don't know if it's, yeah, that's true bottom, I guess. There's a hump there. Yeah, 5 and just a hair over 1/4. Looks like this one's milled down a little bit more. This is just a little bit under, so debating if I'm going to change that oil pickup tube or not. Again, if I was smart, I would have had this on the stand right now. So probably I'm going to look at the other one. I'll show you what this all came with for curiosity here. So looks like it came with all the bolts for the pan. There's the for the oil filter housing, plate for that on the side, the gaskets for that. So change all that over. Man, it's like almost the exact same pan. The baffle looks like it's in the same spot. I don't know if I showed you guys this, but so I guess it's got like windage tray in it. It's got a windage tray, but it doesn't have actual baffles, which I don't really like. I thought it did when I got it, but it's gonna have to do. So another thing is I hope there's not a clearance issue here, because trying to take a peek here, getting everything covered in oil. So this one, you can see it ends back here a little bit, and I think I'm going to put them side by side. Yeah, so the new one it's at least 4 inches longer on the oil pan there, so I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more before I get all crazy here, because I don't want to go through all this trouble and then it doesn't fit. So take a peek at that. Come back to show you how dirty this is here. Just spraying a little bit of this off. What I was thinking here was that I would do a trial test fit and drop it in the car, because I'm setting the oil pan in the car and just kind of sizing it up a little bit. I don't know how it's going to fit with those turbo drains, so I'm going to I was going to try it with the other one, but it's when I put it on with this pickup, it's not going to work. So anyways, I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit, and then we will figure out what the next step is here. Everything that should be simple is complicated. Otherwise, I'd have to get a front drain for the cover, I guess, which I could put in after the engine and transmission are in. But it's crazy how dirty that is. Go back there a little bit. Yuck. That's crazy. That's after I drained the oil already and it sat around. Makes you wonder, like, if this was really a 180,000 mile engine, how many hours it idled or whatever. Not gonna hurt anything. It looks like it's just carbon, but I suspect it was just glugging fuel in the carb, like maybe the float or the needle and seat or something stuck, because it seemed like it was like gas in the bottom end here. I don't know. Give her a clean anyways and get on to the next thing here. Okay, so I pulled the old pickup tube out. Show you guys this. I don't know if you can see this on video. I'll try to show you side by side, but you can see if you put them side by side like this, there's a pretty clear, especially when you go like this, probably would be easiest. Pretty clear that they're definitely, I'll hold this flat for you guys. Pretty clear that they're at different heights here anyways. Overlay them like this. Well, I can't do it very good. But anyways, if you put them side by side like this, you can see pretty much, here, that'll give you the best idea there. Kind of see how much of a difference there is there. So I'm going to put the new pickup tube in, and then I'm going to, after I stop making a mess here, I am going to put this on, try to make sure the O-ring and everything is good on there. Never done that before, so figure it out. But obviously it's a little bit deeper here. We'll test fit there. I guess that's how it goes, pretty close off of the bottom there. So anyways, it's a little bit hard to get those Allen bolts out of there, but I think I'll be able to get her back in here, torque it up, and then what I'm thinking is I'll try to set it into the car and make sure this oil pan doesn't have clearance issues. I might just put a couple bolts in it, drop it in the car, and then see how the pan fits, because if it doesn't fit, then I might have to use the other oil pan and get a different drain system on the front cover or something. But I want to know that before I go to all the trouble putting gasket and everything on, that it doesn't fit, because the oil, the one that it was supposed to get, which I thought this, which I thought this was it, making a huge mess here. The pan I was supposed to get was a little bit lower profile, so there's like, and I thought this was it, but actually the one that's on the engine right now might be the one I was thinking of. So I think it's like 302-2, I think, and 302-3, I think, had the turbo drains in it. So I don't know, I'm trying to just see here, I guess. So I'll put it on anyways, and I think I'll just throw a couple bolts in it and then maybe try to drop it in the car and see how it fits there. So I get a better idea of like what I need to do here. So I was gonna put this new oil drain, this new O-ring on here. I wonder if this oil pan's already been tried once and put together or whatever, but if you look really close, you can see there's like a little nick in this one. So the one that was on it, I think, is actually okay. I think he changed it, and it's still pretty pliable. So I'll probably end up putting that one back on and giving it a whirl there or whatever. But it's a good thing I sort of caught that, because that could have turned out to be a problem. They say that happens pretty common where people pinch them. So I think that probably the solution is make sure it's got oil on it and slip it over here and then press it in, and just make sure you're going straight in so you don't have that issue. Again, I'm no expert here, but that just to me seems like the way it should be. So make sure it's got a little bit of oil on it. So it actually goes up in there good enough. So give her a whirl here. It's hard to record up there, just the way it is there. So I'm just gonna roll on with that. Okay, that was absolutely the wrong way to put that on there. Doing it upside down was really stupid, so it took me about 30 tries, but we got it anyways. I had to be super careful that I was pushing the tube in right. The only thing I don't like is if you kind of look right here where this is. Again, this is really stupid to be working underneath it like this anyways. I should have just put it on the stand and been done with it, but it's like just barely rubbing the windage tray right there. Like I mean, I don't know if that would cause a problem over time or not, but I mean, if there is space, it's like, I mean, barely a hair in there. I mean, it would be solid, but, and then the other problem was this didn't line up perfect when I went to, so I pushed the tube in first and then I couldn't get the bolt on. So I had to like tighten up the two bolts that are here for the pickup tube. And then I had to like pull this back and stretch it over top of that bolt to get it in there, because it just wouldn't go at the same time. So again, this would be easier if the stand was, if it was on the stand and it was upside down. But anyways, so I think the next step, I'm going to put the oil pan on it here. All right, because I like doing everything backwards, like I said, I'm going to put the oil pan on. I'm just going to put 4 bolts in. I'm not even going to put the gasket on it. I just want to see if I can put the bolts on it, set it into position, and see if this pan's going to clear. Because if it doesn't, I guess I send it back. Put the old one back on, which would be a pain because that means I have to put the dipstick tube back on there, and that was a hassle. At that point, I'd probably just put the engine on the stand, but I'll try that, and then we'll see here if I can get the bolts in myself and everything here. Would be ideal. It's definitely a pain doing this by yourself, by the way. Wouldn't be if I had an engine stand, but you know, ooh, that was loud. So something is not clearing here. I don't know what though. Everything is tight there. I don't get it. You can pretty much get the front flush. After all that fighting, I'm gonna end up putting it back on the stand anyways, or on the stand in the first place, which is what I should have originally done. So going to take the old pan and see if the old pan will actually just set back into place like it was, and see if it's just something I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm just not moving it the right way, or once again, this is a really stupid idea to be sitting underneath here like this. I'm putting a lot of faith in this O'Reilly's jack here. Too much faith. Don't be doing this kind of stuff because this is really stupid. Holy cow, that oil pan's still dirty. I didn't really want to put it on there like that. Touch that new pickup tube. Should have taken the windage tray off, or the baffle off here. Like, ooh, that is gross. Crazy how dirty this got. Must have had a lot of idling hours, or else it was something that happened while he had the engine, or whatever the deal was here. But it is what it is now. Work with it. Give her a go, I guess. Try this one and see if it goes back on there. Yeah, so it must just be something I'm doing wrong here, because it is not going with that one either. So good old tub of towels here again. All right, I'm gonna do a little check in here, and I'll come back to this. All right, so after I fought with this thing for I don't know how long, probably 2 hours, finally broke down and put it back on the engine stand. Then I go to turn it over, and the bolts are so long it hits. So I did not put this together. One of my kids put this together, so I have to figure that out now. So a whole nother ordeal. Like, what? Why would they even make the bolts that long? I'm assuming there's supposed to be a washer on the other side, or both the washers. I don't know exactly, but obviously that's not going to work, and I didn't catch it before I put the stand on. Getting tired here. So all I did was lop those bolts off there, just cut them a little bit shorter so that they can get around. It's like they were too long to begin with, because it looks like they probably would have hit the flex plate, or unless there was a little more washers on each side or something. I didn't feel like messing around, so I'm gonna let this back off here. And let's see. Another thing that was really weird is that I can't get it to go onto the bolts here. Like, it's like this stand is weird or something. He should have lubed this up too here a little bit. I'm actually just gonna drip a little bit of this AIM in here. I'll turn it, rotate it a little bit. Put a little bit of the AIM in here. Stuff works awesome. I talk about it lots. It's pretty killer stuff or whatever, but I'll just drip a little down in there. But it really should have had some grease put in there before, just to make it easy to rotate. So try here. I wanted one of the ones that had the little cranks that you just crank them around. I've actually never even, to be honest, I've never seen one other than TV shows. But that would be kind of neat. It's hard to rotate these with the manual ones, especially when they're not greased. Ooh. Flimsy the way it's sitting on there. There we go. I rolled better. Spray a little more AIM in there. Ooh. Suppose it's antifreeze. Oh man. Well. What can I put that in? Anyways, another mess, of course. Pretty dirty antifreeze. All right, holy cow, way easier to see. You can actually see that. Man, this would have made my life so much easier. All right, let's try this pan again and see what was going on here, because that was ridiculous. I have no idea what the problem was there. Food for thought here. Just show you guys. Just something to check too. You can see here the filter housing thing. When you order these, obviously they come, they're not tight. I should probably, I'm just gonna put that back in the bag so I don't forget about that, because then I can't accidentally forget to tighten it up, and probably put a little Loctite on it. Mosquitoes are getting crazy in here. Suppose now that it's upside down, it'll probably go right on. Squealing away at me there. Probably pretty close to the gasket on it. What I could do, guess that doesn't sit very good though. Why is it like, it's like it's hitting the bottom of the pickup tube, but I don't understand how it could be. That's the pickup tube for this pan. There's no adjustment in it, so. Sure seems that way though. right, I'll try a couple of things here and we'll come back to this. Okay, so after a bunch of messing around, I realized what's going on there is that for some reason, this oil pan, this new pickup tube won't work with the windage tray that's in there. So I'm actually looking at it and I think this just original pan that was on it's better anyway. So I'm going to clean that up really good and put it back on, but I'm going to pull a main cap before I do that. I'm pretty much out of time for today. This is a long day already, but something to think about for those guys that are trying to do this. If you see the front here, you can see where it's been touching a little bit. I'm trying to put it on. It's got this weird little ripple to it. So that was the only reason I bought it, is because it had this turbo drain on the side, but I think that's actually going to be a problem for me anyway. So I'm going to return this and probably just get a front billet cover. Then actually I can check to make sure the right camshaft and all the stuff in the front's good too while I'm at it then. And didn't really want to do that, but I will anyways, I guess, so I know what I got. And yeah, I don't know if you need a puller for this or not, but yeah, as far as I'm going to get today. So on to another day. Okay guys, so we pulled the windage tray off here. I was going to pull a main cap, but you can see this thing's never been apart if you look at all the numbers. But I'll show you. The good news is the cylinders look really good. I haven't seen anything weird. And you can see the camshaft lobes here. Let's see, oh, touch that there. Everything looks like pretty decent. You can see the bottom of the lifters there. Everything looks pretty good there. So we're going to rotate it over a couple times, but I don't think I'm going to pull it apart here. Like the sloppy mechanics guys say, don't let the magic out. Once you start messing around with things, that's when you usually start having problems. So I'm just going to double check and make sure it rotates over fully, and just watch a couple of the watch a couple of the pistons go by, and just make sure there's no weird binding or anything like that. But I mean, said it's supposed to have 180,000 miles on the bottom end, and I'd say that's accurate. If you scratch with your nail, you can kind of feel down right where the bottom of the ring ridge, there's just a tiny little bit there, so pretty decent. As I said, you can still see a little bit of cross hatching, and it's crazy actually. Okay, so we pulled the front balancer off this thing. I'll show you guys a quick how we did that. We just had a, this one was off already, so I think it probably went a little bit easier. But if you look at this balancer, I wouldn't have known this, but I had watched some videos. But if you look at the balancer, it's got notches here for a 3-jaw gear puller. We've got an impact, so you can either use a 24 millimeter or a 15/16. Make sure it's not 12 point and you use a impact socket. I always talk about this, but I actually have never had this one in the house, but I'll show you. This is one of like the higher torque ones. I think it does like 650 foot-pounds or something. It's ridiculous. It's got some adjustable speeds on it here, so you can like set it to whatever, or you can put it on automatic. And so we pulled the bolt out first. That thing was hard to get out of there, and then I put it on low. We put the gear puller on it. I just worked it out slowly, a little bit at a time, and then away she went. So should be good. But we're gonna pull this front cover off of here because that oil pan won't work because of the windage tray cover. So I'd either have to get a new windage tray cover, but the way that the oil pan drains were on this thing, there wouldn't have been very good room to access the drains. So I'm just gonna get the front cover so that I can, I'm just gonna get the front cover with the drains in it. It'll be easier to access and run the lines and everything, since the turbo is right in the front there too. So plus then, since we're taking this off, which I wasn't going to, but everything's looking good so far. But since we're taking this off, then I can check to see and make sure it's got the cam in it that he said. So it's supposed to have a high volume oil pump as well. It looks like a new timing chain, so I would say it probably does, but I'll feel better taking it all apart anyways, then I know exactly for sure what's in it is what he said. So do that and go from there. Maybe I should rotate it over once, I think. So we're upright. But it does look like it's got new rockers and whatnot in it here, so should be all right. Pull this cover off. I guess I'd imagine the new one will probably come with a new gasket. Oh, it is steel. Interesting.
Might take that one out.
I don't know. Oh, no. There you go. Oh, no way. What? I dropped the O-ring last night for the oil pump and for the oil pump pickup tube. I couldn't find it, apparently. I grabbed it and I went to pull it out. It was so tight, it just flew. I guess it went down into the cover. So that was probably a good thing we pulled that off there. Not that it probably would hurt anything, but so I don't know. I think that's a new oil pump. Looks like it's been off here. I wouldn't say it's new. So let me see. I'll take a picture of that. It's got. You take a picture of it, or just type this number and text it to me. Oh, there you go.
That looks like an oil pump to me.
Yeah, I would say it is. So that's good. It's supposed to be a high volume oil pump. And what else did he say he changed? The camshaft. Do I really want to take that off? It's got ARP stuff on it, so it's definitely been, I think it's been changed. So what are the chances you could see in there? With the flashlight?
No, it's in your back pocket.
Oh. Take a picture of that. That's all new too. You can see it's not been run, so far seems to be what he said. I'm not going to pull this off. There's no reason for me to do that. I think it's, I don't know if you have to set like the timing marks on these ones, or it doesn't matter anymore. I guess not, hey, because there's no distributor. So interesting. Normally there's timing marks punched on them.
Yeah. Well, I still have to be in time for each other.
I have no idea. Well, that's good then, I guess. One more thing. It seems to be. So really, that's just, yeah. So it doesn't even really need to come off. Not even sure why he put stuff in there. Who cares if something gets into the water jackets? Don't think it matters.
The only thing getting in there was spilling coolant.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, seems like it was what he said it was. So actually, I can probably put the bulk of the engine back together. So once I put that oil pan on, if I silicone the corners, then this is gonna have to get siliconed afterwards because that's the one base, right? I guess that makes sense. That's where that gasket connects to the oil pan gasket. That's a tight fit then. That would make sense though. If it was gonna leak anywhere, it would leak there. So I guess I'll order the drain for this. On that. Should be good. Okay, so we're just messing around. We put a couple little dabs of silicone in the corners here. We're gonna leave the front cover off because I have to order a new front cover for the turbo And
It's wound up to me. Get those two.
grab the bolts. A couple. Should probably put the long ones in the back, I guess. This is a lot easier than doing it upside down. What are these? 8mm? Oh, there. So there should be 2 left when we're done here.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
So it looks like we're just going to put the cover on afterwards, the front cover, put a new gasket in there and just put a little dab of silicone once we put it in. But I'm probably going to, I want to get it together and get it bolted up to the transmission and possibly in the car to test fit here to see if the mounts are all in the right spots and everything. So okay, so we went to bolt the transmission to the engine here, and it was just going in really tight. And we actually tried to, it was almost trying to pull one of the threads out of the bolts on the engine here, and I was like, man, it doesn't seem right. We're gonna end up breaking an ear here. So we stopped and we took it back out, and I'm looking at it now, and there's I'll show you here. If you look, there's down here. See, you can see a little bit better here. There's a massive gap in there, and so that was my fault. I think we put the flex plate on backwards, and the reason that I thought it went that way, there was no instructions when I got it. I should have obviously done a quick YouTube search on it, but so I'll show you what it is here. So it's got like a snout here. Let me just show you guys this. Okay, so if you look at that, you can kind of see how it's bulged out. I've got it backwards, it looks like. And the reason that I thought it went that way was because when I flipped it the other way to line it up, it looked like the starter wasn't going to engage properly. So before I get that all back together, I'll have to check and make sure that starter engagement is right. But when I watched the Speedway Motors video on this, that's what it showed. So I'm going to readjust that and we'll flip it around and then try it again, I guess. Okay, I think I talked about this in my last video, but this is the other thing. So this crank snout adapter, you slip it into here. And I thought that's what was going on. So I'm glad we didn't hurt the transmission here, but that puts it, that depth that it's away, which I should have thought that in common sense, I guess. Now that I'm looking at it, that's a pretty stupid mistake on my part, but hey, it happens. I'm human. But yeah, that puts it that distance that it's dished, that puts it out here. So it's going to be interesting to see how that starter engages here. Ended up actually using the starter off this engine for my truck the other day because my truck, that nose start issue I was talking about there, I ended up putting that one on that just to try it, and I just left it on because it's fine. It actually had a remanufactured sticker on it, which is funny because the starter that I've got that was off of that engine is original. But so I don't know if I can do this myself. My son was helping me when we put it on a chair, tried to get it all lined up here. I don't know if I can make an attempt at doing this myself here, but I'll give her a whirl here and see if I can even remotely get it close here. I'm gonna grab a little AIM and put it on here just so it slips in there a little bit easier on the collar, and then yeah, go from there. All right, so I'm gonna try putting this torque converter back in here. I did it when my son was here. He was trying to go to school quickly and we were rushing to try to get it together before he took off, but so I have to make another attempt at it now. So if you guys have ever done this, you probably know already. If you haven't, so you'll give it a spin and you'll feel it lock in one time, and there's sometimes that second one will go right away and sometimes it won't. So just gonna grab some paper towel here, try to wipe this off a little bit. And then you just gotta the last time it took a little bit of work, and sometimes you'll think you have it, and if you don't, you're going to break your transmission before you start. It'll probably smoke the converter, honestly, but you'll feel that extra second little bit of it. Sometimes you got to pull it back out and try again. It's a lot easier to do this when it's not on the ground. There we go. See? Yeah. See how many times I had to turn it to get it to do that? This reminds me of watching Roadkill, and they were trying to get one on a Dodge transmission. Oops. Trying to get one on a Dodge transmission. They had it stood up and down, spinning it, trying to get it in there, and they couldn't. I can't remember what they ended up doing there, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. Okay. So I don't have a great plan here now. Let me think a little bit here. I'm gonna see if I can find the original torque converter bolts before I start messing around too much here. The bolts that they gave me don't seem like they threaded in the converter very good, so I don't really like that. Well, you see this a lot. I've never personally had it happen to me, but it just did. The transmission housing started cracking on this bolt. Like, it's crazy how tight it's going, and I'm just going by hand here. I wasn't even using the ratchet or anything. Just, I mean, I haven't even have an extension on it, so I can just go gently, and I'm working it back and forth, and it is not happy. I don't know why. Like, this side seemed to go pretty good. I don't know like how much more I want to go here. It's like I don't really know why it's going so tight like that. It's like I see like I don't even want to push anymore on that one, and it's still got probably an 1/8 of an inch to go there. Like, I don't understand, but yet this side I could probably tighten right in if I wanted to. Like, weird, it's not snugging up at the bottom. It's like something's hitting, but there's nothing to really bind up here. I don't understand why. That's what it was kind of doing the first time too, even when I had the converter backwards there. So I don't know. That sucks though, because that's like almost broke that ear off now. Kind of important ones. Huh. Well, that sucks. So I don't know 100% what's going on here, but I think I figured it out. So this is part of like me never having done this before and just kind of going off what people on the internet say. So you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, this snout, it's just getting driven into there, into the converter, and I think it's burying before it actually goes all the way down. I don't know why though. The converter's all the way in. It did 2 full clicks in there and everything like that. So I don't know if it's just the way that this is sitting there. So weird. I almost want to take the converter off and try to slip it on with the little torque converter snub on there and see if it actually goes flush, because it should if everything is right there. And if it doesn't, that means it's pushing on the pump, and hopefully I haven't already damaged something there. To be fair, this is the transmission that I honestly don't even really want to put it in because I don't think it's going to last very long, but it's what I got. It's what I'm going to use for now until I can figure out something else. I'd like to get a built 200 R4 or something like that, but that's just a whole nother ordeal in itself there. So just want to get it running and driving first. So I'm not sure here. Another thing is it's almost like the bolts are like snugging down here. Just gonna give them a once over. See, when they get a little ways in there, they get like super tight. I don't know if I have a see how hot that got. Some of these are blind flanges, and some of them are actually like through through the back. I'm not sure. I don't know if they allow you to go right through the block. They sure get awfully tight. I don't know if I should run a thread chaser through there. I just want to make sure that they were all, I put a little AIM in them, but I just want to make sure they were all actually going in okay. I'm wondering if some of them need washers. Like these ones on the top here, they're hardly going in, but they're dead flanges here, so there's nothing on the back. They don't go like into an open hole. So that's something to think about. Try a couple more here. Man, I thought I had it by myself. I was so excited. I mean, like, I don't know. Might have to put a couple more washers behind there. I think that's what's happening. It's getting super tight there, but I mean, that doesn't explain why it's got so much pressure on the transmission. These things should just screw down like nothing. Don't know why they aren't. It's starting to get frustrating here. All these other issues with the oil pan and stuff yesterday. I thought I would have the engine set in there and trying to actually size up the spacing, but I figured I might as well just put the transmission on it. If it fits, and I'm just going to leave it in there. There's no point in taking it apart again. But now I've cracked the bell housing here a little bit. It's almost ready to break. These two bolts are still there though, and a lot of guys will actually run them without these two top bolts, which is funny. So maybe it'll only be one bolt missing, I guess. Yeah, that sucks though. So I don't know. I don't really feel like taking the converter back out again, but kind of thinking maybe I should just take it out to see if it flushes up. So these are just the little things that take so long when you're not, this is again a first time I've ever done this, and man, it was like sure tight. That torque converter snub was sure tight there, and it only goes in so far. So like it should only go the depth of that. It should only go the depth of the transmission, or the extra depth of the flex plate. But when I look straight at it, it looks deeper. So that could possibly be why. I don't know. What do you do? Grind it down? I don't know. I have to think here. I might try it one more time and just see, but I think I'm going to take the converter off and try that. See if it flushes up there. We'll go from there. Okay, so we did a whole bunch of messing around here. Lost the torque converter bolts, and then I'm finding them I put them back in the old flex plate, which is still on the other engine. But anyways, so I went to town to get some of those, and then they didn't work anyway. So I don't know. I put the old flex plate back on, the one that was on the engine when I got it, and it didn't have any kind of dish to it. When I went to tighten it up, there was probably like, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch of space before it gripped up to the converter. Hopefully that's not a problem. I know some of my other engines have been like that, so I don't think it would be, but I guess we'll find out. And I had already tightened it down, so I hope I didn't hurt the pump or something like that, because that was, I don't know. So I think what had happened here was the snub that they gave you with that flex plate, when you eyeballed it, it was like perfectly, like if you looked at it perfectly from the side, it seemed to me like, I guess I should have grabbed a straight edge and tried it, but it seemed to me like it was sticking out. Never thought about that. But it looked just when you look straight down it and you see both sides, it was like sticking out, like maybe, I don't know, a 1/4 inch or something, and that probably was just that much that it was enough to make it not tighten down there. So wish I'd caught that. I didn't totally break the ear off, but I started cracking it. I just caught it in time. Like I was barely snugging it down, and whatever. But anyways, so got that all figured out. Hopefully everything's okay there. I cut the TV cable off because I never use it anyways. Not the TV cable, sorry, the downshift cable, just so that there's still a hole block there. I realized what my transmission fluid leak was. The last guy put a chrome dipstick in there. I don't know why, and he didn't put any seals on it. So I have a flexible, like low car style dipstick that I'm going to put on it there. It's laying around somewhere. Put that on it, and hopefully it's good for a little while anyways. I just want to be able to drive it. I'm not going to go crazy at first there. I know I need a transmission. I'll end up changing it down the road, but until I can figure out something. If anybody's got a 4L80 with manual valve body, let me know. If you want a John Deere tractor in the background, you can have that too. So I'm going to start making an attempt at trying to get this thing over into the engine bay myself here. So my son's busy. He's got his truck torn apart. He's got his box off, and he's rewiring the entire thing, and just put a new gas tank in it because it's had a couple drift over time there. So he touched up the frame with some paint there, and yeah, he's working on that. So I'm just gonna get at her here. My rest of my family's at the zoo today, so while it's nice and quiet here, I'm gonna try to get something accomplished. I wasted a bunch of time today, so I don't know what the solution is for the Turbo 350 thing. Like, it almost seems like every case is a little bit different, so kind of doing your research doesn't necessarily mean anything. This was supposed to be a converter for this particular deal here, so I don't know what the problem is, but for some reason or another didn't want to fit with that aftermarket flex plate. Oop. Starting to leak some oil now. Try to keep it in the pan if I can instead of over my floor. I'll have to dig up pictures one day. I've got pictures of when I changed this engine in my dad's garage one time, and his friend borrowed me an engine crane, and they didn't, instead of being like this, they were just straight, and his floor was like broken up concrete and stuff. It was just an old garage that they didn't really use for much of anything. And so I ended up putting it in there, and I was putting the engine in this car actually, and it ended up tipping over, and it fell, and it somehow like landed right on like it just barely landed on the edge of the fender there. Didn't even scratch it or anything, and the whole transmission went right through the wall. So that was fun. So I have a picture of that somewhere in my Camaro collection. All right, I should have hooked it back a little bit so it had a little better tilt to it when it went down. Now I'm gonna have to kind of force it underneath the firewall and stuff here. I'll see if it'll make it. Otherwise, I might have to set it down and rehook it. So we'll give it a shot here anyways. But I just put the oil pan underneath the transmission because, of course, when I'm tipping it, it's wanting to drip. I did have some plastic laying on it there, but it was still dripping. So I figured instead of making a huge mess, I'll just drip some of it out and then try from there. Try not to scuff up all my fancy new parts here, but sometimes things have to be sacrificed. Ooh, that was faster than I wanted. Okay. Now, push it down, should go. Ooh. Get the wires out of the way before they get dragged. under there. It should be okay. Making her. You look so motivated to work on your truck. You want to help me for 1 minute? See if it'll actually just drop on these mounts. It looks like so many wires when it's in the car and it's a mess, but once it comes out, it's not really that many. You want to just kind of push down on the front of the transmission there while I ease it down. Go forward with it a little bit here. Ooh. It's okay, it's just touching the front of the pan a little bit. It's hard to let it down slow with these. There, perfect. Oh, what is it? No, that can actually come off. Yeah, that's not even. Dude.
That won't want to come out.
Oh man.
Go back in.
Should I put the flexible dipstick on it before we get it too far in there? I don't know how hard it will be to put it on otherwise. Pull up these lines. Well, getting close. Why is this dipstick all bent up? Oh, maybe not. I guess it's just how it was. All right, close. Need some more. Yep. Oh, it's starting to hit here. That's why. That is satisfying. Ooh, almost fell into place. Nope, not quite. I should have propped something under the back of the transmission. Close though. Put the jack back under there. Yep, it should be good. That fell in pretty close. I wonder. I just guessed at the bolt holes on the plate there. So, anyways. Okay, so after a whole bunch of other messing around, I thought we might actually have this engine in here today. So you can see I got the one bolt in there on the clamshell mount. Cool, everything's going good. And then the other side, not so good. Now you can see what's happening here. Ruh-roh. It is hitting the steering arm, almost like looking at that steering arm. I don't know if that's normally straight and it's bent for some reason. I mean, if it is bent, it's been bent ever since I owned this car because I don't know. And then I'm looking back at the sway bar, and I'm like almost certain that the sway bar is supposed to be straight. Don't know what's going on there, but that thing is crooked as can be. But anyways, it's sitting on this. It's sitting on that steering arm there. I don't know how much more clearance it needs. It's still got to come down like probably 2 inches to get into that thing, so I don't know how that would ever go, to be honest. I could jack up the back a little bit more, try to get it flatter, but I don't know, but it's not even close. Anybody ever have this trouble before? One side's in. This is hitting this steering arm. I don't know if that's wowed a little bit from the factory, but any ideas here? I'm just gonna try to take a measurement of this, check this pan and see, because this is the pan that was on the engine when I got it here. Just gonna check if it compares to the other ones. So the pan itself is probably like the very deepest part is like, looks like about 2.5 inches deep. Can't see it getting any shallower than that. I don't know how you would. So I don't know what is the deal here. I'm going to have to check into that further. All right, guys, that's probably going to do it for this week's video. I made it as far as I could here. Gonna have to figure out what's going on with that steering there. I don't think they make any smaller of a pan, because the windage tray is pretty much touching the bottom of the pan at the front, I believe. So very close anyway. So I don't think there's any lower profile of a pan there, and it's not hitting the cross member, so that's not a problem. It actually fits perfect. If I would have tried to use the turbo pan, it would definitely wouldn't have fit. So glad I'm returning that one. But anyways, yeah, so I think that's going to do it. But at least I got it set in place here. I suspect I'm going to end up having to lift it out one more time here. Probably, I don't know, maybe that's bent, and it's, I don't know. If it is, I'm probably just going to just give it a little tap there and see if it'll square up or whatever. That could be why it's like, when I drive it, it's just like really wonky driving. Like maybe, well, I told you when I was underneath there, I'll show you guys sometime, but it's just full of dents after that guy owned it. Just brutal. Like it was, I mean, straight as an arrow underneath there before, like almost 99%. Like now it's got like massive dings and dents in it. So obviously the guy that had it between me selling it and buying it back there, he must have just ripped it through some rock piles or something. I don't know, but like I said, that sway bar's bent, and it's weird because the sway bar's bent downwards, and the steering looks like it's bent upwards. So don't know what's going on. The only other thing I'm looking at is like, it looks like the engine could go farther back actually, which would be ideal, right? The more weight to the back, the better. These LS accessories are crazy heavy, man. Like there'll be way more weight in the front than there ever was. So not sure what to think about that, but anyways, yeah, guys. Well, appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share me around. TK's Garage 405 on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Give me a like and help me out. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing some more draws pretty soon here, so I'll hit you guys up for that.